No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm in here with China Mac, who I just met like 5 minutes ago. How you doing, man?
Yo, what's up, bro?
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too, man.
Yeah. I'm like you're the kind of dude who has really, let's be real, made a fucking name for himself by going on DJ Vlad and just speaking your truth.
Right.
When I think of you, I think of like, man, that is the dude who has just like came out the woodwork, and I didn't know who you were until maybe a year or two ago, and then you just been hitting the world over the head with just fucking a lot of like crazy street talk on Vlad, and that's just like motivated the people and like made you've really like created an identity off largely that. Obviously you're doing your thing with your music and social media and everything, but I feel like that's definitely the entry point where I got acquainted with what you were doing.
Right, and I think that's the same for a lot of people, you know. Definitely shout out to Vlad for giving me that platform. It's dope.
The street talk though on YouTube and shit, people just go crazy. They just love to hear about what's really like going on in parts of the world that they don't have access to, that they don't understand, such as jail being like the best example of that.
Yeah, I think it's because, you know, everybody fascinated with that type of shit, and you know, nobody wants to actually do it. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to go in there, but you know. They're fascinated with it. So when somebody comes out, even if it's like shows or movies, you know, it usually moves with like if it has something to do with prison or some shit like that, because it's some shit that you can't just go visit and go take a look at it yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if it's like, let's say everybody says, oh, Compton is this and that. You can actually go over there and just drive through it, take a look at it.
You might not want to, but it's right there.
Yeah, it's right there. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that with prison. You can't walk in there and take a look and see. So when you're able to, you know, them shows or interviews, when you get that inside look, you know, I think a lot of people gravitate towards that shit.
And it's kind of interesting from your perspective, though, because it's like that's probably the worst thing that you've had to go through in your life. But then meanwhile, you know that the fact that you're equipped with being able to talk about that on your own, that is just like a big thing that is going to be able to, you know, that your storytelling about that time during your life is the kind of thing that there's a lot of demand for, that people really want to know what really goes on in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy because it's a part of, it's like you said, it's a part that, you know, I don't even really want to think about that shit no more. You know what I mean? But because it's such a big part of my story, you know, a lot of people be like, yo, you always talking about that shit, whatever. But it's a big part of my story. You know what I'm saying? That's like you not talking about, you know, when you were
riding bikes.
Yeah, when you were riding bikes, you know what I'm saying? Or when you, whatever, right? Like a big piece of your before you're doing what you're doing now. So it's like, you know, it's a big piece of my story. And, but now I'm building a whole nother part of my story, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Let me ask you this though. It's like when you're going through, you've been out for what, 2 years now?
Right.
Just hit the 2-year anniversary? Right. And that's the longest you've been free in your adult life, I believe you're saying?
Right, that's a fact.
Wow, crazy. When you're going throughout your day-to-day life, how often does it cross your mind that was something that you dealt with for like 10 years? Like how often does it come into your thought process? Do you ever go like a full day without thinking about that period of your life?
I think about it, but I think about it in ways like, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yo, damn, like I'm really free. Like, you know what I mean? I still get that. Even like, you know, just being here yesterday, we was in Vegas, and I'm just like, damn, like I'm in Vegas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I never been to Vegas before. So just looking at that shit, I'm like, damn, I only seen this shit in movies. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like thankful that, you know, I'm out here and shit. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. So I still think about that. I still, you know, and that shit helps me keep shit in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of kids, you know, that might not have been through that shit, they don't really appreciate certain things. You know what I'm saying? But because I was in that situation, and you know, I know how to appreciate shit. So just me waking up and not seeing no bars, and you know what I mean, not hearing the fucking guards, you know, yelling some shit, you know, on the count, you know what I mean, on the child shit, you know what I mean? That I be that shit That shit really, like, you know, in the morning, I'd be thankful for that shit. You know what I mean?
I think part of why people are so fascinated by you and by a lot of the street stories that you got and shit is because, well, okay, to put it in perspective, like I did, one of the most viral videos I ever did was when I went to Long Beach and I did like inside the Asian gangs of Long Beach or whatever, where I went and hung out with Stupid Young and did that video. And it's like, it's kind of weird because some of Stupid Young's homies at a certain point, they were like telling me, they're like, yo, like, we Asian, but we not like nerds. We're not like regular Asians. I'm like, bro, you got like a gun on you and you got tattoos on your face. I understand that you're not a fucking regular ass nerdy Asian dude who went to Harvard. Like, you don't have to remind me of that. But it's like a thing where it feels like, you know, people are kind of fascinated for some reason by the idea of Asian people getting into the street life because like in their fucking jumbled mind, they think that that's not the kind of thing that those people are supposed to be going and doing, right?
Yeah, but that's just like, that's stupid, you know what I'm saying? That's just like stereotypical shit, you know what I mean? Asians been in the street, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, gangs been out here, Asian gangs been out here since for a long time, you know what I mean? But I think, you know, it's easier to just put all Asians or anybody, it's easier to just put everybody in one box instead of like trying to, you know, unravel shit and take a look at, okay, you know, you got these different dynamics of you know, shit that's going on. But yeah, like you know, it gets real. But that's where every race, every like, you know, people, you know, you got, of course, you got a lot of Asians that are well off. You got a lot of Asians that, you know, go to school and, you know what I mean? I think that like there's a good majority of that. But then you also have a lot of Asians that come from the hood, you know what I'm saying? That come from poverty, that comes from fucking gangs and shit like that, you know? So I think I'm definitely a representation of that. And like you said, like people are just like surprised because they usually see Asians, like Asians usually don't really, they're non-confrontational, you know what I'm saying? So like they kind of just like, they don't really like to put themselves out there and get too much, you know, but so when they see somebody that's just like, that's
really
just
living on the edge.
Yeah, right.
Just out here doing their thing.
Yeah, so like when they see that, it's like, it shocks them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What were your early days like? What was your upbringing like? I feel like a lot of people like have heard your gnarly ass stories, but that's the thing that maybe they're not as clear about is exactly what it was like for you coming up when you were real young and shit.
When I was really young, my father was in a gang. My whole family, all like my uncles and shit, they was in a gang, but we're not talking about like a street gang. You know what I'm saying? They were like, you know, in organized crime.
Closer to the mafia, would you say?
Like that, definitely like that.
But what was their business?
Heroin.
Heroin was the primary thing.
Heroin.
And you, at what point did you figure that out, or did you just always think that like, oh, dad is, you know, hanging out with his boys doing something sort of shady, but you didn't really know the details?
I kind of always knew it was something like I didn't always know, but my dad had a lot of power. You know what I mean?
And you could feel it.
Yeah, definitely. Because like whenever I walk somewhere, they'd be like, "Oh, that's, you know, that's his son. That's such and such son," and everywhere I went, you know, I always had like, you know, like bodyguard, like, you know, gang, like, you know, his underlings. Like,
he would have people go around with you even when you were doing normal shit.
Because at that time, Chinatown was real territorial. So it was like one block is right here, but the next block, the connecting block, is like, you know, a different gang. So like, I used to always have people following me around, taking me to places, and that was a big thing. And then I used to always be in like the gambling houses because that was big. And, you know, just being around that atmosphere, I kind of sensed that it was a little different, you know what I mean?
But did you sense that like the bodyguards were there because you were in danger, and did that freak you out as a kid to think that like, oh, people might want to hurt me just because of who my family is?
They always told me I couldn't walk on them because, all right, so like the block that my pops and them was on, it was like the next block, like right, the connecting block, there was like a arcade, right? It was called Chinatown Fair. But that block was ran by the rival gang, and I could never go there, right? And I always be like, yeah, I want to go. Like, I want to go play video games. Like, the fuck? And they wouldn't allow me to go because it was like the rival gangs, and you know what I'm saying? So I always knew there was some type of there was limits, and there was like, there was limits of what I could do, and I always thought that was kind of weird. You know what I mean? But then I started realizing what was going on and shit, and I seen violence happen very early.
Really?
Like, you know what I'm saying? I seen body drop like when I was like relatively really young.
Really?
You know what I mean? It was right there. Like, so.
It's kind of crazy because, like, from my perspective, Chinatown, downtown, because I lived in Brooklyn and Queens from like 2004 to 2010. So we would always be around that area because there's like a lot of BMX spots and stuff, a lot of skate parks and stuff that are kind of in that area, and you would always be over there just to get food or whatever. And you could always tell that there's like interesting shit going on there, but as a person who's basically just like a tourist to that environment, you realize that you have no real way of understanding what's going on there in terms of street shit or what the gangs are. Like I could live in a neighborhood and understand that, like, oh, there's like Crips on that block, but in terms of like the Asian gangs and shit, that shit is so like invisible to the eye of like a fucking regular ass white person like me,
Yeah, I mean, it was different. Like Chinatown from 2004 compared to like Chinatown in like 85.
Oh yeah, because you were way
different,
before that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot different. So what happened was, you had a lot of gangs in Chinatown, but then it wasn't the population wasn't like, say, Bloods and Crips and all this other gangs that had more members. In Chinatown, it was just like, it wasn't a lot of members. So when the feds came, for a long time, the feds couldn't crack down on the Chinese because the Chinese was insular. The Chinese didn't talk to the police. Even if they were getting extorted, getting robbed, they would never talk to the police because it was just a part of the culture that it doesn't matter. You don't talk to the outsiders, right? And the police was looked at like outsiders. But then after a while, the police started infiltrating, right? And,
it's only a matter of time.
You had like Chinese officers going in and boom, boom. So after a while, that motto, you know what I'm saying, that way of thinking and shit, that shit went out the way.
Because they just get better and better rats. They get people who are closer to the shit.
So for a long time, they couldn't infiltrate, you know what I'm saying? And then when they infiltrated, it was just like right after they came and wiped out the mafia, they went right next door, right next, like, across the street.
Right.
And shut down all the Chinese gangs and shit. And then, the Chinese gangs just didn't recover after that. You know what I'm saying? Like once they started taking everybody, like the Chinese was just like, all right, it's not gonna work anymore. So it just dissolved.
In terms of like heroin being sold in the community though, were they like primarily selling to other Chinese people, or were they just like keeping like the nearby hoods fed with drugs and shit like that? Like what was the attitude on selling drugs to your own people?
Yeah, they didn't sell it to the nearby. They didn't sell it to the people.
Right.
It was always like, like, cause Lower East Side was right there. So I don't know, like back in the days, Lower East Side,
it was madness.
It was
when
like,
you were coming up.
Like I went to Philly, right, recently, and when I went to Philly, I said, what the fuck? Like, yo, it was zombie land, you know what I'm saying? But now, you see people shooting up in the middle of the street, like nothing, broad day, like it was just nothing. That's how it was in Lower East Side back in the day. Like it was just everybody was on heroin, and because the Lower East Side is Chinatown is in Lower East Side, but like the projects and all the like outside where all the Spanish people and all the other people were at. People were just like the Chinese were just giving them the drugs,
right? And
that's why it was just so fucking. It was so fucked up out there, you know what I'm saying? But the Chinese, I never really seen a Chinese junkie, you know what I'm saying? Like the Chinese people wasn't really doing it. It was everybody else that had that issue.
Because when I think of like the Chinese like mind state is very much about the collective, and it's kind of hard for me to imagine like the people who are like established elders in that community being willing to see like people in their community dying off heroin and shit. It feels like that is the kind of thing that would be really looked down upon in the community.
Right. Yeah. No, definitely. I think that for the most part, like I said it somewhere else. It was like basically like the Chinese like they understood that, and just like the mafia understood, like, you know what I mean, no drugs. For a long time, the mafia didn't get into the drugs because they felt like, you know, as soon as you do the drugs, that's when the heat comes. You can do, you know, gambling houses, you can do like all this other shit, and the feds won't really come fuck with it.
Right.
But once you're doing drugs and once you're doing heroin, that brings a whole different type of heat.
Yeah.
And that's why the mafia was always like, yo, nah, you know, you can't do drugs. You know what I'm saying? You can't, nobody can sell drugs. But people were doing it on a low. Like,
so ultimately, it's like, how are you going to let other people go out and get money if you can't get it? But I agree that, like, because drugs are also the most fucked up thing to get into, is because then your clientele are guaranteed psycho, running around the streets, getting into trouble. They have absolutely no reason not to rat on you. It's like you're just creating a huge, like, all your customers are just people who could eventually go tell on you.
Right.
Not to mention the chain of supply of people you're going to have who could, like, actually sell the shit for you and everything like that.
Right.
Yeah, because, you know, there's a dynamic around here that I've read quite a bit about where, like, it's the Korean fucking pool halls and shit. They just, like, were kind of left alone for a long time by the cops and everything because they have their own world where they're selling fucking women, they're smoking indoors, they're, like, you know, probably selling drugs, doing whatever, but it's like the cops kind of tended to leave them alone because the Korean world is so insular and they're so in their own fucking universe, and like the cops don't have to deal with it a lot. But then over the past few years, they've really like actually cracked down and made it so that all these people are scared as fuck to run these like fucking little parlors that they run where they do prostitution out of and shit like that.
Yeah.
So you've kind of seen that take place on the Lower East Side. How do you feel when you go there these days?
It's a better place. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, like a piece of me is like, damn, like, you know, it's gentrified. You know what I mean?
Cops everywhere.
Cops everywhere. But yo, not for nothing. Where we at? We're like, are you familiar with Lower East Side?
Yeah.
So there's a precinct right there, right? And then not just a precinct, but one police plaza is
Right
like
there.
a block right there.
Which is like,
and then you got
right next to
which
World
is
Trade
right
Center.
there.
Yeah.
And then the World Trade Center is there. And then you got the fucking courthouse. You know what I mean? And
Do you know where the Brooklyn banks are?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where I spent a huge percentage of my life.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I definitely got my dick sucked down there on a park bench. Quite a few times. I seen people, like friends of mine, fucking bitches on the Brooklyn banks, middle of the night. That's disgusting. Any girl who lets you do that is a fucking horrendous human being.
Hey, you know, bitches, dirty bitches gotta live too. You know?
They gotta live too. They don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, but yeah, so it was like police was right there too, and then shit was still happening, but with the drugs and the bodies and all of that shit, that's when the feds came and really swooped in, and yeah, cleaned that shit right up. And then now when I go there, it's good to see, you know, but of course a piece of me is like, damn, like I miss how it used to be, you know what I'm saying? But I also, that's just me, like the nostalgic, you know what I'm saying? Like just me missing what it used to be. But if I look at it like as a like just regular, like, you know,
where you would want your kids to grow up.
It's fine now, you know what I'm saying? It's a great place.
Definitely. When I think about you having that influence from your dad to sort of get into that world, I think about there's this sort of viral Lil Bibby tweet last week where he said, if you're a street dude and your son is a street dude, then you're a failure. How do you feel about that?
If you're a street dude and your son is a street dude, then you're a failure. Yeah. I think if you're anybody, like, and your son is a street dude, and for the most part, you're a failure. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be a street dude. So I think that's anybody, right? Like, who the fuck wants their fucking kid to be like in the street going to jail and shooting dope and doing whatever the fuck they doing out there, you know what I'm saying? So I think, yeah.
Did your dad work to keep you out of that environment, or what was his attitude on that?
Nah, he wasn't even around. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't even around.
So he was like doing work in the streets and you knew about him, but he wasn't really around to the extent that he could control what you were doing?
Right. He was around, but he wasn't, like, I would see him once in a while. But then when I was 5, he got snatched by the feds, and I ain't see him after that.
Wow, at all? You haven't seen him since? Or?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, I seen him once, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I ain't seen him.
So he got like a crazy long bid?
Yeah, he didn't get, I don't know how much time he got, but he basically, he basically told on his crew. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And that happened. And then, that shit put my family in danger. You know what I'm saying? So like for a long time, even still to this day, I don't even want nothing to do with him. You know what I mean?
Right. Damn. So that happened. So did that change where like prior to that you had like bodyguards around your family and shit like that, and then all of a sudden that stuff went away?
Yeah, like it was just, it used to be like it was it was once like, damn, that's his son, and everybody like looked at us with,
Yeah.
with like some type of royalty, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then after that shit, it was like cold stares, and it was like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the same anymore. The energy was different. You feel me? And I felt that. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit was pretty like harsh to me. You know what I mean? And it really made me like have a lot of fucking,
Understanding of both sides of the world, like you know what it's like to be considered royalty and to know what it feels like to be looked down upon. And meanwhile, none of it was your choice. None of it had anything to do with anything that you done.
Right. Yeah. And then so yeah, that shit really like, that shit put like I didn't even want to talk about him. Like anybody that ever after that, everybody that used to say that I was his son, I was just like, I fuck around and smack somebody for saying that shit. I just didn't want me being associated to him, you know what I'm saying, at all.
So do you think that you had like anger in your heart associated with that whole experience, and that's what sort of led you to then want to go above and beyond and do stuff that, to be in the streets?
Yeah, I mean, the smarter thing, the better, like if I was a fucking smart kid, I'd been like, all right, that's not what the fuck I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just not do the street shit and let me do, but in my mind, I was just like, all right, I'm going to do the street shit, but I'm just not going to be in that gang. I'm going to just do a whole nother gang. And then I'm going to just like, do it differently. Like, I'm not going to do what he did. And I'm going to fucking like, I'm gonna rep hard. Like I'm gonna whatever needs to be, whatever's on the table, I'm taking that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like meaning like if something had to be done, I'm taking that. Nobody even gotta ask me, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? That's with shooting somebody, stabbing somebody, whatever the fuck, robbing somebody, whatever the fuck it was, holding guns, whatever the fuck it was. I'm trying to prove that I'm not him. You know what I'm saying? So I was just, and that's how I built my little, my little name out there. And I was just on my other shit, just trying to prove to everybody that I wasn't him.
So the gang that you linked up with was completely separate from the shit that your dad was a part of?
Right.
Okay. How'd you even get tapped into that world?
I fucking they was recruiting in schools and shit.
Oh, really?
And somebody came up to me and shit. I'm like, all right, let's get it.
Recruiting, like they wanted you to basically like sell drugs for them, or what was it?
They was just going like, yo, I was in junior high. I was like my first year of junior high school, and fucking, the gangs was outside just grabbing kids up. Like, yo, what's up? You want to come?
Wow.
And hang out and shit? You want to smoke cigarettes and eat food and shit? I'm like, I'm with it. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? And then like, I went there, and then I dropped out of junior high school, and I just started like, you know what I mean? Started living that life.
Right. So at what age did you join with that thing? And then at what point did you end up getting locked up? Like how many years running the streets did you really have in there?
I joined that shit like 8, some shit like that.
You were 8?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, they're recruiting gang members at 8.
Yeah, like 8,
Jesus Christ,
9 years old, some shit like that.
Insane.
And then I fucking wait, was it? Well, how old are you when you were in junior high school?
Junior high, I was like 13 in 7th grade.
13 in 7th grade?
12 or 13
okay,
7th grade, and graduated at 18.
8 years old was my first time going into juvenile detention.
Oh, okay.
Right?
What was that for?
That was for, fucking, at first, like, what happened? I was really like a bad kid, you know what I mean? And then I used to always just do bullshit, you know what I mean? And then I started off, I think my moms had like put hands on me, put marks on me and shit. And then when I went to school, they saw it. And then I got on, when they asked me, you know what I mean? I didn't know, so I was just like, oh, I didn't like that my mom hit me, so I was just like, oh, my mom hit me and shit. And then they put me on paper, like they then I was like young. I was like 6, 7 or 7. And then they put me on the fucking, they didn't take me, but they put me on like group home, what was it called? Like people was coming to our house, my house,
Yeah.
and checking in and talking. And so then after that, I got in some trouble. I fucking like, I threw a brick at like a store. And then I got arrested for that shit. And fucking like I was 8, and then they took me. I went inside and shit.
Holy shit.
And then I was in group homes, institutions, and then but then when I came out, so I was already trouble, and then like I came out and I went to junior high school, and that's my first year junior high school. I just went with the gang and shit. And
Right.
then I started getting crazy.
So was your mom trying to keep you out of trouble, and was it just a total lost cause?
She tried her best, but you know what I mean? What could she do? You know what I
Right.
mean? She couldn't really, barely spoke English, like, you know what I'm saying? So she barely spoke English. She ain't know what the fuck was going on. She had to work. So she was watching me by herself. She had to leave me with other people, you know what I'm saying? They ain't really give a fuck, you know what I mean? And then like, you know, I was just out of hand. And then I just, you know, so she tried her best. Like I can't say there was one time when my mom gave up on me. Like she was always there, you know what I'm saying? But there's only so much she can do, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if I wanted to do this shit, there was nothing she tried to lock the door, but I'll break out, you know what I mean? I'll jump out of windows. I'll fucking make a line. Like I lived in the building. She locked the door where I can't leave the house, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't open it she lock it from the outside, but I'll fucking tie up sheets and shit and tie that shit on her, and I'll break the fuck up out of there.
Holy
I'll
shit.
start running around, you know, going to the streets. There was nothing that she could do to stop me, you know what I'm saying? Like I was in there already, like, you know what I'm saying? I made my decision, like.
So you were running around the streets in New York City as like a 14-year-old with a pistol.
Yeah,
Damn.
definitely.
You remember when you first got one? Because like people don't understand that in New York City, running around with a gun is a lot different than running around in like Atlanta or LA with a gun. It's a whole different level of
It was
intensity.
different back then, though.
Oh,
Those laws wasn't like that back then.
True.
Back then, you could catch a body and do like 7 years and come back out. You know what I'm saying? Like, when made like with that type of shit. So it's a lot different. But then once they started like, you know, making the laws different, then, you know, things really, you know, got cleaned up out there. But I was holding guns like the gang. They used to make me hold the guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, hold the gun. And like, all right, I'll hold the gun. What you want me to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, they always, because nobody would search the little kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll search like the gang members, but I'll be across the street with a book bag walking, following them, but I'm all the way across the street. So if the police come run down on them, they ain't got the guns. I got the gun. I'm across the street. You know what I'm saying? So they'll pull up on them, but I'm just, you know, walking. So they used to always they used to recruit kids just for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Have kids do shit because the kids wouldn't really get in too much trouble. You know what I'm saying? So they would use us as pawns and shit, like to do shit and fucking, and I was all for it. You know what I mean?
Did it seem like the dudes that you were working for were really making that much money?
I mean, now looking at it, I think the people that was doing like my pops and them, like that crew, they was making a lot of money because that heroin was big business. You know what I'm saying? That heroin, they was getting that China white. You heard of that shit before?
That's a type of heroin?
Yeah, it was big. Like, you know, China white, everybody was, you know, people was dropping off of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that came from the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? We had that dope. And that was being brought in from Asia and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and then that shit had everybody, like, you know, that shit was making bank. You know what I mean? So all like the major fucking drug dealers that was coming up in those times, they really got it from like the Chinese. You know what I'm saying?
So at that time, what was your perspective on people who actually did heroin? Like, had you even thought about doing drugs, or were you smoking weed? Were you getting into that side of things at all?
I never really had a drug issue.
Okay.
I never really fucked with that shit. My shit was like violence. Like, you know what I'm saying? My shit was like, you know, I liked it like, you know, I liked it doing that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that was my thrill. That was what I was getting high off of.
You just had that mentality of being a soldier?
Like, I just like that shit. That's the shit I liked it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I liked that rush. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit got me high. You know what I mean? Like if I'm about to rob somebody, the minute before I do that, like that feeling, I liked it, that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if I'm about to put in some work, I liked it, that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like there was something that I bragged about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something that made me feel better.
Because it's like, you know, when you're at that level in your life, you can only really be known for so many things. And like being known as the dude who's down to fuck somebody up or down to just really go over the top with violence, that can kind of become like your image. And you were sort of that dude that people just were scared of shitless of you, and you were sort of addicted to that
Like
vibe.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. If you were a dad and you had a kid and you identified those similar, because you have kids? No, not yet. If you identified that same sort of similar mentality in your kid, how would you feel, or what would you try to do to sort of like limit his ability to really get in trouble and shit?
Just be there for him, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think that's a major part. Like, you know, kids start fucking, I think a lot of it is like kids feel like they not wanted, you know what I'm saying? So that not being accepted, that's a big driving force for a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? May it be drugs, may it be joining gangs, all of that shit, you know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, just being there for him, you know what I'm saying? And just like, you know, just teaching him, you know what I mean? I think that does a lot with, you know, steering the kid in the right direction, you feel me?
Definitely. So you did a 3-year bid and then a 10-year bid. Were those your two main bids that you caught?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did 3, I did 10, but then I did like juvenile bids, 18 months here, you know, 2 years, like shit like that.
So you were just, what were you getting caught with when you were doing the juvenile bids and shit?
Just like fucking stabbing people, shit like that, bro. Robberies, you know, shit like that.
Nothing too crazy. It's weird, given the whole scope of like what you've been through, that just stabbing somebody don't really seem like that big a deal, huh?
Stabbing somebody wasn't I mean,
like, is that a traumatic memory for you? Because like you feel like there's some people who will talk about like the violent incidents that they've been involved in when they were younger, and it's like it really stands out in their brain as like a fucked up thing that they were a part of. And then like, but to you, it's like having been in a situation you stab somebody in a fight or whatever. Does it feel like it was even that significant?
Nah, because you get you know, that shit gets jaded. Like that shit becomes normal. You know what I mean? But I think stabbing somebody is more like it's like it does more than actually shooting somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because when you stab somebody, you gotta get close to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
More intimate.
Yeah, you gotta get close to them. You might look at them. You know what I'm saying? And that shit is like, you know, you shoot a motherfucker and just be like this and go, like, you know what I'm saying? So you don't even know what happened, you know what I'm saying? But when you stab him, he might grab you like, no, you know what I'm saying? And you stabbing him, like, you know, that's right there. Like, you know what I mean? You get a little more, you know, a little more interaction, you know what I'm saying?
I seen you in the club last night, and there was a guy on your Instagram story who had a big ass knife in the club. I'm gonna be totally honest. It wasn't you, but I seen somebody else pulling it out, and I'm like, bro, that's crazy. I ain't seen anybody like flexing a big ass knife in the club in a long time, ever probably.
Should be there. That was a nice club too, right?
Yeah, it was a nice knife too. It looked like a big gold knife or some shit.
Yeah.
By the time they hear this, the story will be gone. But
right.
yeah, that was crazy. So you still got some people that are down to ride out with you, I'm guessing.
I mean, yeah. I don't, yeah, but that's not the type of shit that I'm really looking for. You feel me? Like, I didn't even notice that shit, that knife shit. I didn't notice it until actually, like 30 minutes ago when I looked at it. I'm just like, oh shit, this motherfucker had that. But if I knew that, I would have told him like, yo, don't even like, you know what I'm saying? That's not the type of shit I'm trying to project right now. You know what I'm saying? That's not the type of shit I'm trying to push. Like, you know, my shit like a little different because like I done did that shit, you know what I mean? Like I did it, you know what I mean? I don't want to do it no more. That's not something I want to be around right now, you feel me? But if it has to go down, it has to go down. And, you know, people's around that, you know, that will do whatever, but that's not the type of shit I'm trying to like, you know? I'm trying to get this bag, you feel me?
Definitely. So I know what the 10-year bid was for, and people can go watch that video about that crazy ass incident. What was the 3-year bid that you did before that about?
Did some shit Witness tampering?
Really?
Yeah, witness tampering.
So you were telling somebody not to snitch or whatever, and you got caught doing it?
Yeah, some shit like that. Yeah.
How the fuck did they catch you?
Well, they fucking the people told.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess that'll do it.
The people told and shit, and then like, you know, it was that with some other shit. Like but yeah, that witness tampering shit is kinda big, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't want that shit going down at all, because it's like you're like, you know, threatening people and you're fucking up their cases, so they try to make like a little example out of that shit.
Yeah. Crazy. So yeah, when you were in jail doing the 10 years or whatever, was there, because you know you've really like come out of there in the past couple of years and really made a big name for yourself, and like, you know, inserted yourself into the conversation. I see you got all these different things going on YouTube and everything like that, making your own content. Were you in prison this most recent bit and like just really thinking about what you were going to do when you got out, and now you're executing on it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what the fuck, you know, that was the best thing I could have did, was I used that time, you know, productively. You know what I'm saying? Like I used that time, like studied, got my shit together, got my fucking thinking right. You know what I'm saying? Versus, you know, just being in there, you know, just playing games and, you know, fucking doing whatever, and just not really checking the problem, the issues that got me in there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and then once you come out, don't matter if you do 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, if you don't check it, you know what I mean? That shit don't go nowhere. You feel me? So when you come out, it's like, you know, if I was in jail and I was just like, I didn't really do anything to check my behavior, and I was just really doing more of that same behavior and more, when I come home, what the fuck you think is gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be on that type of time. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be on that type of behavior. But I use that time to kind of like get my shit together, because I'm like, I don't want to be back in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I have so much more to offer. You feel me? And I'm like, yo, this jail shit is for the birds, because I see people like 70 years old in jail. You know what I'm saying? But like, damn, bro, like I'm not trying to be an old motherfucker in no jail. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to die in no fucking jail, bro. Like that's super trash. And anybody that's like promoting that type of shit is fucking is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I ain't trying to die in no jail. I'm trying to get pussy. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get money. I'm trying to travel around. Like yesterday I went to Vegas. Like, you heard? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I was just like, yo, that's crazy. Like this shit, you know what I mean? It gave me a different type of feeling. That's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I want to go travel the fucking world. I think that's what life is about. You know what I'm saying? Not being in nobody's jail. You know what I'm saying? Eating fucking bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And fucking being around a bunch of dudes and like doing dumb shit. Like that's for the fucking birds, bro. Like,
and 10 years is like, you know,
I know people that did 30 years, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but 10 years alone is like, you have the ability, like if you go in as a 20-year-old and you get out as a 30-year-old, that's like 10 years of like changes in your life that most people are able to go through, and you just have that frozen.
Right. You know what I'm saying? My whole you know, a good part of the most like the best years of a person is the 20s, right? You know what I mean? When you're 21, you get to fucking drink, and you get to, you know, college, whatever, you get to fuck all the bitches. Like, you know what I mean? I was in jail, you know what I mean? So it was like, that was taken from me, you know what I mean? Well, it wasn't taken from me. I took the shit myself, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so like, that's a, you know, but I don't be looking at that shit, you know what I mean? Like, I just be looking at it like, all right, fuck it, that's done, you know what I mean? That's done. So what the fuck we gonna do now? What we gonna do for the rest, for the 30s, 40s? Like, what we gonna do? So now I'm just trying to set up for, like, you know, I'm just trying to live life, bro. Like, you feel me?
Definitely. Was Vegas like a real standout travel wise, because have you gotten to travel any significant amount since you got out? Or was Vegas one of the crazier things? Is this your first time in LA since you've been out here? Or since you've been out?
Nah, I've been out here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it was my first time in Vegas. I don't really get to travel like that, but when I do, it's like, you know, I always fuck with it. I like traveling. You know what I mean? Just you get to see different shit, meet different people. You know, who the fuck? I think a lot of times, I know a lot of people that don't leave their blocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get that shit over here, like in Cali. I feel like a lot of people are just like stuck in their areas. Like, they don't really go even like 30 minutes outside of where the fuck they're at. You know what I mean? And that's like crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, But
Like in New York, it's kind of normal to hop on the train and shit.
just go around.
Out
right?
here, it's not really that normal to hop on the train. There's a lot of people who never really leave their neighborhoods. Like it's different over here. This is Hollywood. It's a lot of rich people and shit. Obviously, they're moving around. But yeah, for sure, that's like a huge thing. Like kids who grow up around here, that number one, if you grow up in the hood out here, you might not really want to go to that many different neighborhoods because somebody's going to ask you where you're
Right,
from.
exactly, yeah.
It could go down no problem for that. And yeah. So it's very similar to New York in that way. Because I mean, I would always meet kids from Brooklyn that never been to Queens, never been to the city. And like, I'd be like, how the fuck you never been to Queens? Queens is like 2 miles that way. And they just like, why would I? What do I got to do over there? You know, it's like, that's that mentality.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely. So
I be all over the place.
yeah.
I think out here I've been everywhere. I don't know. I've been to like fucking Orange County, Burbank, fucking we travel like we put like 1,000 more than 1,000 miles on the car for like in 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Like we was all over the place. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So when you got out after the 10 years though, like were you at the end of that bit, were you thinking about what you were gonna do, like in the sense that you were gonna get out, you were gonna just start chasing after the music shit? Did you understand that the internet had gotten so much more powerful and that focusing on social media and shit was what was really gonna help you like to develop your identity? Did you really have the ability to understand that while you were locked up?
I mean, I knew that social media was big, you know what I mean? But I just didn't know how. I read a lot of books, like, you know, I read a lot of shit. I tried to keep myself abreast with that shit, but it's different. Like, you know, you could read everything, but it's different than actually like being in this shit and really knowing how to do it.
You went in like a couple years before Instagram even came out, and then you get out and Instagram is everything.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy.
So I had to learn how to do that shit, you know what I mean? But once I learned that shit, it was just like, all right, you know, this is it. Like, this is what I got to do. So then I kind of got used to that shit. And now it's kind of like, it's still like, you know, I feel like the younger kids, they have more an advantage. You know what I'm saying? Because they grew up in this shit. They
Speaking
know
that language.
That shit is like, you know what I mean? Second nature to them. They understand that. They know it. A motherfucker like me, I didn't grow up with that shit. So it's not second language. It's not second to me. You know what I'm saying?
I see memes and I'm just like, holy shit. Like I could never think of something that funny. Like
Right.
you got to grow up and like really understand memes to like fucking come up with a joke that good. And that shit makes me feel old.
Yeah.
Like these fucking 15-year-old kids is funny as hell. And I don't know how to make jokes like that.
Right.
So yeah, what'd you do when you got out? And did you get out and are you like scared shitless that you're gonna fall into some shit by accident that's gonna send you back in?
I came out and I was just on my grind. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to, you know. I think when you in prison, like certain people, like when that shit makes you hungry as fuck. Like you know what I'm saying? You just wanna, cause prison is like it's a hustler's world. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you don't have, you know, people bringing you shit and all that, you got to find a way to live. Like, you got to find a way to survive in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that hustle spirit is, like, alive. You got people, you know, juggling shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got people just making money. Like, it's always a way to flip something, always a way to make something, create a way to, like, you know, all right, we can't do this shit, but we got to find a way around it. So, you know what I mean? I've seen people, like, you know, find, like, it breeds creativity in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because when you don't have it, you got to find ways to get it. You know what I mean? So I think that shit really helped me. Because when I came home, I was just like hungry, and I was just like, you know, I just hit the gate running. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
But it's like you could be hungry for a hustle in jail, but you only have so many things you can do. Then all of a sudden you get out, and there's a million things you can do, but a huge percentage of them are illegal. You know, it's like, oh shit, I can make money doing this, this, and this. But it's like, yeah, a lot of that is going to be selling drugs or doing this and doing that. It's like, I don't know. You must have been at least a little bit aware of your own ability to come up with some kind of scam that could end you in prison again, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't trying to do that though. Like I was just like, I'm not trying to do that. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't even be around that type of shit. I don't want nothing to do with that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Although that shit is available to me. You know what I mean? Like as soon as I came home, all that shit was available to me. But I'm like, nah, because I already know. Like that shit is, you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to do shit like with all right, I'm just gonna do it up to here, and then I can't do that.
You
know
go
what
the
I'm
whole
saying? I
way.
go all the way, and then next thing you know, the federal indictment, and like, you know what I mean? Here we go again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, let me just not fuck with that at all, and let me just do something over here. You know what I'm saying? Which I enjoy doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit ain't work to me, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
How do you feel like you were received by the people that you knew before you went in? Because you must have been like, you know, you feel like they had a lot of respect for you after you came home after doing a bid?
Yeah, but then
A lot of them have to have like moved on with their lives and shit too, right? They're not in
yeah,
the same mentality they were in when you went in.
yeah, a lot of people just like they respect me, but then you know they just didn't want me around either. You know what I'm saying? So they just waiting for me to just like, you know, go back to jail.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, like even not even people that's not in that world, even just people like, you know, in the rap world, like, you know what I mean? Anything like that, anybody that they just didn't want me around, like, you know what I mean? They were just waiting for me to go back to jail.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I did go back to jail. I had a 16-month violation after
What was the violation?
curfew that like I had came out with this song that got me in some trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
And
you
it-
said something in the song or was it in the video?
Yeah, I was talking about shooting police
Whoa, really?
on the song and shit. And then they didn't violate me for that shit, but it made me hot. You know what I'm saying? So once it made me hot, then you know they just found me for whatever and then just booked me and put me up for 16 months. So I did 16. I was home for like maybe a year and some change, like a year and a couple months, and then I went back to jail for 16 months.
Okay.
Came back out, and then I haven't been back in yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah.
So did that, when you got that additional 16 months, were you like insanely depressed? Did you feel like it was all over? Like you had just fucked up everything that you had worked for over the 10 years?
Nah, I ain't feel like it was over. I never feel like it's over. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's over.
That must have been scary though after just getting your freedom back.
It was definitely fucking like, it was definitely worse than doing the 10 years.
Really?
That 16 months like was horrible because it was just like I was home, you know what I mean? Like, and I was working and I was getting, you know, I was getting rhythm with my music, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, nah, damn, now I'm going back in jail. And it was just like, damn, that shit was worse than the 10 years. Like, but it also gave me a lot of time to reflect. You feel me? It gave me time to really like to take a look at how I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, like in terms of the music. Because you know, a lot of times like we don't get time to think about shit. We're always we're like this, especially like, you know, somebody like you already know it's like one thing after the next, after the next, after the next. So you don't really get time to really just really think about shit and really give like your full attention on a plan and shit. You know what I'm
And then
saying?
in prison, you got way
I got
too
nothing
much
but
time. Nothing
so
but
now
time.
I'm just like, all right, fuck it. I saw the landscape. Like I was like, all right, so that's how this shit works. So now I had 16 months to really put this shit, like write everything down and really come up with strategies. So now when I came home, I knew exactly what to do because I had 16. I had almost a year. I had a year of watching it, you know what I'm saying, and getting you know, getting the understanding of what the fuck is going on, hands-on understanding. So now when I went back in, all the books that I read books, boom, 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 but I knew exactly how to implement this shit now. Because before you could read the books, but if you don't have a hands-on, you know, knowledge of what the fuck is really like, you know, hands-on, you don't know, like the book is just like whatever, you know what I mean? But now once you've seen the landscape and once you're in it and then you read these things, it's different. So now I just put all my plans together and shit.
Definitely. Did you realize, like, as you got out, that basically, like, the climate for Asian rappers is a lot hotter than it had been in a long time? Because, like, when you went in, it was still very limited, and then since then, we've seen like K-pop explode. There's like hip hop communities in a lot of different Asian countries. There's a lot of American Asian rappers who have some level of buzz going on. Was that like, did you realize that and realize that you could capitalize on that? Since almost none of those rappers, besides maybe Stupid Young, are really coming at it from like a gangster perspective or like a street perspective, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, there was definitely a void, and it's just it was just a matter of time that, you know, that we would get some rhythm. You know what I'm saying? I still don't feel like we getting all the rhythm, like, but it's just more acceptable now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think the time is coming. I think the landscape is ready for, like, just people is just more ready for that than say 2000 and, like, what I mean, like that time. But yeah. So I just feel like a lot of people just they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a little more. Because the internet is a big thing. So, like, the internet is like before, you would never see Asian people in different lights. You know what I'm saying? Because, the media wouldn't push that. You know what I mean? So you would just see whatever the media is pushing. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see, like, whatever may be around you. So if you're not around the Asian hoods and shit like that, you won't know what the fuck is going on. But now with the internet, you see more shit. You see different people doing different shit. And it's more open, you know what I'm saying? So I think that gets people more, like, people they get more familiar with that shit now.
Do you feel any of the Asian rappers out right now? You fuck with Rich Brian or Higher Brothers or any of these dudes are out now doing it?
I think it's cool that everybody is. I think that's a cool thing. You know what I'm saying? And seeing, like, different kids, Asian kids getting buzz and doing that shit. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Okay, this is kind of something I wonder about too, because one of the big things that kind of put you on my radar was when Lil Pump had the song where he said the thing about the eyes Chinese, Yao Ming, Ching Chong, whatever. Right. When you responded to that, and that kind of was interesting to me because I was like, oh shit, this dude is like standing up for Asian people in a way that we haven't necessarily seen in hip hop, because truth about that punchline is that you can name a fucking 100,000 rap songs that basically had that exact punchline over the course of the last 20 years. But for some reason that one stood out, and it was like China Mac, like sort of taking the lead role, like, nah, we're not gonna let you just say something about our culture that is offensive.
Yeah, I think saying eyes low like Chinese and saying, like, like that type of shit is different. And pulling your eyes back and saying ching chong, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, saying, yo, like, smoking weed, eyes got me Chinese, and eyes low like Chinese, or, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that, that's different, you know what I mean? But when you pull your eyes and do that shit, that's just, like, blatant disrespect. But even then, like, I really didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really didn't care. Like, when I first saw it, like, people tagged me in that shit, and I'm just like, all right, like, he's a fucking kid, like whatever. But I didn't look at the whole video. I just looked at him saying Ching Chong first, right? So then he pulled his eyes after the second part of the hook. So I didn't see that, and I'm just like, whatever, and I just, like, put my phone down. Then when I picked my phone back up, like 50 people like a bunch of people tagged me in that shit. So I'm just like, then I looked at the whole video, and I'm just like, all right, he definitely disrespecting. But I wasn't, like, going crazy over, like, responding. I wasn't like, I gotta respond, like. But then I saw the fucking comments, like, you know what I'm saying? And when I saw the comments, it was like thousands and thousands of comments.
A lot of people, like, in Asia were getting in on it, and you could tell when you looked at the comments,
like,
just walls of Chinese characters.
So when I saw that, I'm like, all right, I have to say something. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, the comments are going, but nobody is really going to give that any light. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the media ain't really going to pick that shit up. People over there talking about it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm the only person that could really, say something, and it had a possibility of the media picking it up and really had some power behind it. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that for the simple fact that nobody else is doing it for us. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's that time for the Asians to be painted in a different picture. Like, you know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be the people that anybody could just walk over us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we should say something. But I wasn't, at no time was it like beef with the kid. Like, I didn't want no beef with him. I didn't want no static. I just wanted to check him and just not even just check him per se, but just let everybody else know. Like, you know what I mean? Like we just not gonna be taking shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like anybody else would want respect, like, we would want that respect too. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of kids they really didn't understand that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of kids really didn't understand that, you know, they just feel like, oh, you know, everybody else said it. But first of all, I wasn't home for all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, and second of all, I don't think that the people, whoever did it before, it didn't have that type of response from the Asian people. You know what I'm saying? And I just saw that, all right, that's time for somebody to stand up. So I stood up. You know what I'm saying? But you know what's crazy is I never really, like when Little Pump came to New York, like right after that shit. You know what I'm saying? He came to New York. And I knew he was coming because, you know, people that he had hired for, like, you know, to the bodyguards and shit like that, we already knew, you know what I'm saying? So the club, like, you know, word gets around. So people told me, so I'm like, all right, we gonna pull up on him, you know what I'm saying? But my pull up on him wasn't like we gonna test you a gangster, like we gonna fuck you up, or we
just
gonna
talk.
It was just a talk, just for the simple fact, like, yo, bro, you know. And when I went up to him, he had no clue I was there. You know what I'm saying? So when we went in, the security let us through, right? And then out of nowhere, I'm just in front of him. You know what I'm saying? And he just looked at me like, yo, what the fuck?
Shit.
Like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, yo, let me holler at you. Let me just talk to you. So I'm like, yo, bro, you know, that shit wasn't personal. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you said some shit that, you know, disrespected a whole, you know, bunch of people and shit. You know what I'm saying? He had already took this video down.
Right, he already apologized before.
But
I was surprised that he even apologized, just because I thought that he was just not going to give a fuck and he was just going to ignore it. When he actually came out and apologized, that's when I realized I think that there was like the label had made it kind of clear, like, yo, like they're not going to play your shit and like China.
You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
A lot of people was like, yo, China Mac, you did that. I mean, I think I had something to do with it, but I don't think I was the deciding factor.
You definitely helped throw some fuel on it.
But I felt like it was more like the labels, like, yo, you know, you fucking up the bag. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got to do something about this. You know what I'm saying? So he did that. He already took the shit down. So when I pulled up on him, I'm just like, yo, listen, you know, you fucking up. Like, I'm not coming on you on no gangster shit, but you know you fucking your bag up. You know what I'm saying? And you disrespecting a whole nation of people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's make this right. You know what I'm saying? And he had a show at Barclays Center. So I'm like, yo, pull me up at that show. You know what I'm saying? And let's like, you know, let's show some, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, and he was there. And they was with it. You know what I'm saying? They actually called me. And I never told nobody this. They actually called me. And his people was like, yo, we at Barclays Center. How fast can you come over here? So I'm like, all right, we be right there. So I pulled up to Barclays Center, but on my way to Barclays Center, Academics, old bitch ass, he fucking put the shit up saying China Mac presses Little Pump and makes him take the shit down. But he already took the shit down.
Right.
And he knew that, you know what I'm saying? But he just wanted to, but he just so happened to put that shit up, you know, right when I was going to Barclays Center. So what happened was when I spoke to the people at the club, when I spoke to Lil Pump, then I spoke to his manager. And his manager's like, yo, you right. Like, we want to fix this shit. Let's fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, all right, let's fix this shit. You know what I'm saying? Pull me up to Barclays Center. It'll show, like, you know, you're not just like, you know what I mean? It'll show, like, the Chinese people like that, you know, whatever. And that's a big population right there. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy, because I remember when Academics posted it that I commented on it and I was like, he deleted it like a week ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what happened was his people was like, yo, let's do something. Let's figure it out. But we just don't want to look like you pressing him. Like I'm like, all right, I'm not here to make it seem like I'm like some super gangster trying to put, you know, making this shit happen. But, you know, let's fix it. You know what I'm saying? And then So they called me, and then once he put the shit up, it made it seem like China Mac presses him. That was the headline. China Mac presses Lil Pump and makes him take this shit down.
Right.
So then after that, they didn't. Once I got to Barclays Center, they wasn't even with it no more. Like, cause they saw that shit and they was just like, nah, you know, everybody's gonna say like, boom, boom, boom. It's gonna make him look like he fucking, you know, gave in and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So that shit didn't happen, and that was crazy because, you know what I mean? But
that would have been pretty epic.
It would have been epic, and not just. I mean, it would have been epic definitely. It would have been epic for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd have really put me It would have helped me a lot, but not just for that though. It would have been epic for just the people,
The Asian
like, you know
people
what I'm
to
saying?
be
The
like,
Asian people,
that's a
like,
dope
yo,
show of respect.
That's dope, and it would have been dope for him. You know what I'm saying? Because it shows like the youth, like just respecting something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and I think that would have been good for the relations between, you know, different races and shit like that. I think that would have been epic. You know
Because
what I'm
like
saying?
when somebody says something racist against black people and it comes out in the media and stuff, they treat it like a really fucking big deal. And it feels like it's not the same when somebody says something disrespectful about Asian people, where it's not treated as being that serious. And it would be cool to see Pump actually like have, you know, sort of acknowledged that, you know, he takes the Asian community that serious, you know?
Yeah.
Do you hold that against academics that he kind of blew that up for you?
I mean, I just academics doing what he do. Like, I ain't mad at him for that shit, but I just think that, you know what I mean? Like, that was some whatever shit like that, because that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? So he's
Right.
just promoting some bullshit just so he could get a couple, like, you know, get views and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But whatever, that's not my end all be all. Like, that wasn't like my thing. Like, oh, I just thought that would have been dope. You know what I'm saying? For the culture, so. But yeah, so that's what happened with them.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're doing more than just rapping though. Like, you're doing the rap thing. You also got this food show on your YouTube channel, which I noticed is actually doing pretty good and stuff. I was watching you eat McDonald's last night on it.
Yeah.
Where'd that idea come from? Is how many different shows are you working on, and what's the idea with that?
I just started doing that shit because I'm just like, people. So my music is like. My music, well, at that time, I was only making music that appealed to, like, you know, New York, like that New York hardcore hip hop, right? And that only appeals to like a box of people, right? Like, so everybody outside of that, you know, they wouldn't fuck with it and they wouldn't fuck with my music. So I'm just limiting myself to this fucking box. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, but that type of hip hop is what I felt comfortable making. So me coming out of jail, if I tried to do any other type of hip hop, it wouldn't come out. It would come out forced.
If you made a Lil Pump song, it might be a little weird.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it just stylistically, it would sound off.
Because what did you grow up on? Like, what would you describe as like the main shit that you were super fucking with
Like
when you were
G-Unit,
younger?
New York, like Mobb Deep,
Right,
shit like
the
that. You know what I'm
era,
saying?
yeah.
So that's what I came out, like that's what I felt comfortable doing. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, before I start doing other type of music, let me just get comfortable, you know what I mean? And then let me make music that I'm comfortable making. You know what I'm saying? Versus making music that's trying to fit in. But then when I make that music, you know that I'm trying to fit in, and it won't sound like, you ever seen like a older person try to make a record that like try to pander to that shit.
Oh yeah.
But then it don't work because it doesn't sound like authentic. You know what I'm saying?
Super sad.
So yeah, and that shit just looks stupid. So I was like, let me not do that. Let me do what the fuck I'm comfortable doing. You know what I mean? So I just started doing that. And then that was the music that, you know, it was genuine, but it only appealed to a certain type of people. And I felt like that held me here. So I'm just like, all right, I have to find different ways to, you know, to create different content to open that space up. You know what I mean? So okay, so now I was like, yo, let me start doing like some video content, you know what I'm saying? And then I started doing food. I didn't even know, I wasn't even planning on doing food. I was just doing it because it was like Chinatown. Like, I want to take give a little tour about Chinatown, and food is a major thing in Chinatown. So I just implemented that, you know what I'm saying? And then when I did it, so many people fucked with it. You know what I mean? I was just like, all right, I should do that. You know what I mean? So, and I felt like Action Bronson, Eddie Wong, like there's a few people that was doing that made it big, but they stopped doing it. So there was a void there, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, all right, let me fuck around with it and see how that should go. And then now what I see is like, that opens me up now, you know what I'm saying? And it also cleans up my image, you know what I'm saying? Like, because before that, I'm just looked at like a gangster rapper, criminal, been to jail, boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? But now when I'm doing the food shit, it cleans it up. So now when you go on YouTube, it's like a bunch of fucking, a bunch of different shit,
Right.
versus just, gangster rapper, jail, you know what I mean, shooting, boom, 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 boom. And then that hinders me, you know what I'm saying? Like that stops me from getting certain shit, you know what I mean? So now I'm like, all right, let me clean it up, you know what I'm saying? And then I started doing the food, and then that's been working.
So you started out with stuff that's more local to Chinatown. You were doing the dumpling spots and all that
right.
shit, and then you sort of expanded into doing like the fast food stuff that I watched last night.
Yeah, everything. Like, you know what I mean? I just started doing everything, and then shit that I could, because I can't go in certain spots with cameras, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because we just went, so I just started doing like pizza, like shit that I could just get and do, and that shit's been doing well. So I just started doing that. You know what I mean?
Could you see yourself taking it to a bigger platform and doing a show like Action Bronson did and shit?
Yeah, definitely. That's the plan.
Hell yeah.
That's the plan.
That's what's up. What else you got going on? You got the music shit going on. You got this food show. Anything else project wise that you're working on?
I got a bunch of songs about to come out. I got a EP I'm about to drop.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's why I'm out here right now promoting, just getting my shit back out there. So in time for me and ABG Neil got a song coming out.
Oh really? That's amazing.
Video.
I fuck with him super hard.
That shit hard.
Damn, I want to hear that.
That shit's hard.
Yeah.
Definitely hard. And I
You
got
do
a
the
bunch of
dance?
shit. Huh?
You do that ABG dance?
Yeah.
He puts his hands on his hips.
Nah, I got different dances.
I can't do the dance though.
You can't do the dance?
I don't know.
That shit cool as fuck though, right?
Yeah, it looks crazy. At first, I was like, "Wow, I never seen a kid like him, like a Brooklyn kid who looks kind of tough, and he dancing like that. Damn."
Yeah.
He told me he put a kid in a coma because the kid was making fun of his true religions. He had fake true religions on, so he beat his ass. And like he said that on the security tape that he hit the kid like 60 times or some shit.
Yeah.
Put him in a coma over some fake truies.
Damn, ABG now.
I feel like China Mag might have done something like that back in the day.
Yeah, I did my fair share.
You ever had bootleg jeans?
Was I?
You ever have any?
I never wore no bootleg jeans.
I don't think I did either. Thank God.
Did I? Nah, I ain't never wear no bootleg. I think that the most I used to buy shit like from like back in the days they had like this Boss jeans, like cheap ass jeans and shit, you know what I'm saying? And people used to get at me for dressing like wearing cheap shit, you know what I'm saying? Like cheap sneakers and shit like that. Cause Asian people don't really give a fuck about like my Asian families didn't really care about, you know, name brands and shit. So me going into like, you know, schools in the hood and shit and people were like, oh, what the fuck you wearing? Like I used to get that.
Right. You ever see Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah, I saw that shit.
What did you think of it?
It was alright. It was cool.
Different side of being Asian.
Side, different side. Shout out to Aquafina and shit. That's the home.
Oh, she was in it, huh?
Yeah, she's big in that shit. That shit fun.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That shit pushed her.
I haven't
skyrocket
actually listened to her music, but I heard about it.
I don't think she makes music anymore.
She doesn't anymore?
Nah, I think she's just fully like on her acting shit, which is dope. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up though. That definitely helped like crack it open. There's another example of like, you know, Asian representation in the landscape out there.
Yeah. Do you listen to like Asian? Do you listen to any Asian artists?
I put some time in with Rich Brian when he was first coming out. I'll listen to his projects when they come out. I think he's dope, honestly. Yeah, I think he's a real artist.
Yeah.
And he fell back on the Rich Chiga thing. Did you think that was a bad idea when you heard about that name?
Rich Chiga?
That was his name to start, and then he pulled it back because and changed it to Rich Brian because he thought, you know.
I don't know. Did you feel like? How did you feel about that? Did you feel like that was like? Even though that's not something that you would really be offended by, but
I never seen black people complaining about it, but I could definitely understand if they were to start being pissed off about it. You know, it feels like some percentage of people would definitely get offended by that shit, so it's probably good that he took care of it early on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, some people felt some way about it, but then I don't know, because it's not like, I don't know, I didn't think that was an issue, but that's me. Like, I'm not black, you know what I'm saying? So, I didn't see no issue about it, but I thought his music was like, I think his voice was definitely different.
Yeah, he got a crazy voice for such a little ass kid.
Yeah, and yeah. So, yeah. Anybody else?
I might have to think about
Stupid
it.
Young.
Stupid Young, I fuck with too. Yeah. That's a
like
good
his
point. I do like his music. Yeah, you fuck with him?
Yeah, I fuck with Stupid Young.
Damn, that'd be a good vlog right there. Is bringing China Mac to Long Beach and hanging out with the Asian boys.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, we should do that.
That'd be a good one. I'm actually down. Make that happen. That'd be sick. How much longer are you here?
I'm out today.
Okay, well, maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time we put that shit together.
Yeah, that would be lit. That'd be a good one. He took me to some fucking Cambodian spot we were eating at and shit. It was pretty official. I used to live like the exact area that he lives in. I used to live like 3 blocks away from there for like many years when I first moved out here, but I had no idea that there was any of that shit going on.
What?
I hear about people getting killed. I just didn't understand that it was related to any gang shit.
Yeah. But yeah, that shit is it's kind of serious out there, right? Like the gang life and shit with the Asians and shit like that.
Yeah, they don't fuck around over there.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of shit. Nothing too crazy, but you know, they're doing
So when
it.
you went there, I think that was a big deal. Like when you went there and shit and did that.
They were
Was that your
tripping
first
even.
one?
That was the first vlog we did, like really going to the hood. But and I know, and people were tweaking out like it was so crazy. I went to Long Beach. I'm like, number one, I used to live like right around the corner from here, and number two, this was like 35 minutes on the highway for us to get there from here.
Right.
So it was kind of like weird for people to act like we were doing something wild by just like going and like hanging out in some neighborhood. But I mean, I guess I get it. I probably shouldn't have been putting it on Snapchat like while we were there because hella people just started showing up and shit.
Oh, what?
Probably
That's crazy.
like from a security perspective, it might have been a little too loose, but you know, fuck it.
Yeah, Stupid Young is like he's doing his thing right now. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. It's dope to see that shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know. But I feel like I'm gonna be bigger. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got a different thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like and not to take nothing from nobody. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm just really like I'm different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I make different music. Like a lot of people just think I make this one thing. You know what I'm saying? But I think once I drop this project, a lot of people gonna see that I'm really versatile. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just did a joint with Baldacci from out here, Florence, right? And I did a different type of beat, more West Coast type of beat. I did a joint with ABG Neil, his type of beat. I just did something with I did a Spanish song with my bro Dali Goya, you know what I'm saying? Dominican joint. So I could really do different shit, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people, you know, a lot of people just do like one thing and they're just good at that one thing, you know what I'm saying? But I could really do a whole bunch of shit. And on top of that, like my market is Chinese. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm not pandering to them, but once I have a record that's moving out here, like in China, it's gonna be big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To see like a Chinese person, because it's different. Like Stupid Young, a person like Stupid Young, right? He's Cambodian. He has a record that's popping out here. You know what I mean? It wouldn't really like shift anything in China. You know what I'm saying? The Chinese wouldn't really give a fuck.
It's like a
You know what I'm
different
saying?
version
It's different.
for them,
It's
yeah.
different. You know what I'm saying? But if a Chinese person was to have a song and get lit out here in America, you know what I mean? It's gonna be like
That's going to make him the most valid Chinese person to them because to them, that's like the one hardest
Nobody
thing
ever
to
did
do
it.
is to break into that world.
right. Nobody ever did it. And let's look at the China, bro. Like China has the most population. You could put all of those countries outside of, like in Asia, put all of them together, and I don't think it's as big as China. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like China just has a huge population,
And about to be the #1 world economy.
and you have the most millionaires under 30 in China. You know what I'm saying? The economy is booming out there, and on top of that, hip hop music is growing exponentially out there. Like it's going crazy out there. So it's like
It's a big opportunity.
I'm a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think a lot of people a lot of people don't really see like I play chess with this shit, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think a lot of people sleep on me for that, but then it's cool because I'm about to wake up a lot of people, you feel me? Like the motherfuckers about to start getting up on this China Mac wave, and I'm gonna make sure that, you feel me?
Is it going to be a long time before you're potentially able to travel to China?
I got 8 more months of parole.
That's it, 8 months.
Facts. And I've been on parole. I've been on paper since I was 16 years old.
Holy
You know what I'm
fuck.
saying? I've never been off of paper. So either I was on probation, jail, or parole. You know what I'm saying? From 16 all the way to now. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like all that time, I've been on some type of fucking supervision. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
And finally,
You're gonna feel so free.
Yo, I can't wait to get off of this shit, bro. Like, I hate being on parole, but it's better than being in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, the worst day on parole beats, you know, the best day in prison. You feel what I'm saying? So, but just being off of that parole shit and just being off of paper, that shit's gonna be so much like, I can't wait.
When you turned down the blunt earlier, was that because you're on papers, or is that just because you don't smoke?
Nah, I would smoke, like, but I really can't smoke because I got like a punctured lung. My lung.
Oh, really?
Like, my shit, like, you see this shit?
Oh, fuck.
So, like, if I smoke, you know what I mean? Like, it fucks with my lungs, so it hurts my shit. But I would still fuck around and smoke once in a while. But because I'm on parole, I don't smoke. I don't fuck around. Like, you know what I'm saying?
How are you gonna celebrate when you finally get off?
I'm gonna smoke.
There you go. That's what's up.
Smoke. I'm gonna definitely get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go to China. You know what I mean? I think I'm just gonna travel travel around, go all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
And just see what's up. You know what I mean? More.
That's crazy. Do you feel like you're like famous as fuck when you're just walking around in New York? I feel like you probably get recognized all the time, especially around Asian people, or especially like around young people and shit.
Asian people,
it's just people who watch shit online, yeah.
It's not, Asian people don't really even come up to me like that, B. Like, it's everywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's crazy is because that shit is like
It's so new to you.
it's been happening for a while now. But it still be like, damn, like a motherfucker was just in jail. Like, a motherfucker was like not just in jail, but I was just like nobody. Like Christmas had passed and I wouldn't get a fucking letter. Like, you know what I'm saying? My birthday would pass. Nobody would tell me happy birthday, nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't nobody, you know what I'm saying? But now people coming up to me and people telling me like, yo, China Mac, and people really fuck with me. Like, people, like, it's different if they just fuck with my song and be like, yo, you got a fire song. But people come up to me and be like, yo, you changed, like you helped me change certain shit. And just by me seeing how you growing out here and like, you know, you really like turning into something right before our eyes. And that shit is inspiring for me. And I get a lot of people that did prison time and it's like, yo, damn, you showing me like I could do different shit. And like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's rewarding as fuck for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just for me to have that type of response. Like, because I think, you know, like when Nipsey passed, right? I think the biggest thing that I saw with Nipsey's passing was how much people he really affected. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, positively. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people really people really was moved by, and it wasn't just like for like a month. You know what I mean? I think this is like, gonna be a longer period, but just because of what he stood for and what he did, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I feel like when I die, you know, that's how I want to be. You know what I mean? That's how I want to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, not in the same magnitude as him, but
that's something to shoot for and aspire to. Because like I feel the same exact way. Like, just hearing how much he meant to so many people and how much like the businesses he built in his community meant to people, it just really like forced me to think about like, all right, well, how are people going to talk about me when I die? Right.
And I think that's important. I think a lot of people, you know, if a lot of people thought about that shit, you know, people would, you know what I mean, just be better people. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I think that'd be that, you know, so that's what I got from that. When I seen Nipsey shit, I was just like, it made me want to like do different shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like when I die, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I want that same love. Like, I want to change shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the type of, you know what I mean? That's the type of shit.
For sure. All right. Well, yo, I appreciate you coming on, bro. You want to tell everybody what you want them to check out on YouTube, on social media, whatever? Yeah,
definitely. You could check out my YouTube channel. Make sure you know what I mean, subscribe to my channel. It's China Mac TV on YouTube. My Instagram is @ChinaMac. My number is 347. Now I'm playing. But yeah, definitely check me out. I got a bunch that ABG Neil shit. That shit is gonna be hard. I'm gonna push that right to you. You know what I'm saying?
Send that to me. We'll premiere it for sure. Because his last song we just dropped already got like 500,000 in like 2 weeks.
I think this shit, up. I ain't gonna front. I think this is like his best joint. You know what I'm saying?
real? Wow.
Like, I think this shit is fire. You know what I'm saying?
That song we premiered from him, the last one, Russ hit me up about it. So
What?
that to me was like, damn, this shit is really hidden if Russ knows about it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fire. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's good to see.
So
You know what I mean?
I want to see that shit bad. You got to hit me with that link whenever you get it ready.
Facts.
Amazing. Well, hey, China Mac, nice to get to know you on camera. Thanks for coming through on the show and helping us give the people some entertainment. Appreciate you,
Everybody
man.
know. All right, go again. Appreciate you having me, bro.
When I come to the Lower East Side too, I'll holler at you.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm get you some you know what I mean, some Asian.
I used to have some fucking favorite dumpling houses and scallion pancake spots and shit, but I can't remember them anymore. Otherwise, I would love to just tell you, like, yeah, I used to go to this one, but I can't fucking remember the street names anymore.
I was talking about some like Asian hoes, like some pussy. Like.
We definitely need that. I got to ask my girlfriend first. All right. China Mac, No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes.